In this video, I'm going to show you the exact Instagram ad strategy that we recently used to make $18,694 in just 2 days with one of our clients. And as you can see, this number right here came through 3 closes. The first one was a PIF. The second one was just a third-party payment, so it was just 1/3 of the whole amount. And the last one was first a deposit and then 1 day after a PIF. And that allowed us to make 14,000 cash collected and, as I said, $18,694 in revenue. And so far with this strategy, with about $4,000 in ad spend, as you can see right here, we generated to this day in July, so in 22 days, $36,000 cash collected and $57,000 revenue. So as you can see, it definitely works. And in this video, I'm going to show you all. So if this is you, right, you are selling high ticket and you are stuck in the 5 to 20K range, then this video is definitely for you. Because if I was given a few days and a limited ad budget and I needed to create the biggest alpha in today's market, then this is exactly what I would do, step by step. And to be honest, the best thing for you is that you can literally just copy and paste this entire thing for your high ticket offer and probably see similar results. So today we're gonna cover 3 things. First of all, the carousel high ticket ad strategy that, to be honest, no one uses and no one talks about. The appointment setting framework, so how to actually turn cold leads to warm by personalization and data tracking. And the last one is how to systemize and optimize the entire sales process, because you need to get a lot of PIFs. Because if you want to make those days, right, when you are making almost 5 figures in a day, then of course you need to take some PIFs, right? You can't be just scraping by every single time doing some payment plans. So that's what we're gonna cover at the end of this video. And to be honest, this is probably the biggest game changer. So let's begin. Carousel ad strategy. But before, let me just stop you here for a second and tell you something really crazy. So for some reason, everyone in today's market, in this high ticket offer market, right? Everyone is just focused about profile visit ads. And look, I'm not trying to say that profile visit ads are bad, because they're absolutely amazing. But the thing is that if you are doing the same thing as everyone else, then of course you will have the same results. So that basically means that you cannot create any alpha, right? Any upside if you're gonna be literally doing the same thing as everyone else. So this is why carousels are really powerful. So here's exactly how to make them. And this is, by the way, the same exact carousel that made us all of this money, right? So you can literally stop this video right here, take a screenshot and recreate that if you're also in e-com niche, right? Because this is our client didn't. So let me begin. So the first image is of course the most important. So how do we do it? Of course, we start with the biggest achievement. And look, it doesn't have to be your achievement, right? It doesn't have to be I went from minus 20K to making 50 million in e-com. It can be literally stating your biggest case study with a client. So for example, how John made X amount of money in X amount of time, or how John lost 20 pounds in X amount of time. Literally anything. But the most important thing with this achievement right here is that it needs to stop someone from scrolling, right? So it needs to be a little bit controversial, a little bit actually hard to believe. And also it needs to immediately create authority. Because why someone should listen to Dylan if that would say, I made $5, right? No one would listen to that. But if he's stating that he actually went through this journey, right? And then they see the confirmation on his page, then they see his YouTube videos when he's talking about this journey, it creates this authority because this is the first touch point. Those ads will be seen by people who never saw Dylan. So we need to create the good impression with literally the first touch point. Now, after we grab someone's attention, we literally just say to him what they can expect, right? So we literally say to them what this carousel will be about. So for example, here are 4 lessons to build your first profitable brand in the next 6 months. And then this is an example of a little bit actually less direct, let's say promise, because also you can say, for example, something like this, right? So let's imagine that right here is like, John lost 20 pounds in a week. Those are the same exact 5 steps you need to follow to have the same results, right? So it can be much more direct. And the last line is of course a call out. So you literally state who is your ICP, right? It's super simple. So it can be, for example, for aspiring e-com founders, for single moms trying to lose weight, literally anything. What is your ICP? You put it right here. Now the next images is of course just you providing value, right? So it's the body of the carousel ad. So if you said, for example, right here that here are 4 lessons to build your profitable first brand, you literally just state the lessons, right? If you say that there's like 5 steps to lose 20 pounds, you literally just explain the 5 steps. And the best way to make sure that someone actually goes through all of those steps and goes to the end is to make them really fun to read. So this is how you do them. So first of all, a curiosity-based title, right? So for example, right here, If it's for everyone, it converts no one. Okay, it creates curiosity, what it means, right? And then most ads fail by trying to speak to everyone. Okay, makes sense, right? Instead, use the 3P formula: persona, problem, promise. And at the end, you basically capture the essence of the whole post in just one line. Relevance equals revenue. Or for example, simple product plus proven market equals money. Spend your time growing, not shipping, right? You see the idea? So this is literally how you do that. Curiosity-based title, what most are doing wrong. So as you can see, why boring products are easy to scale. So first of all, why most are doing it wrong, right? So as you can see, most ads fail by trying to speak to everyone, right? Okay, we know what the competitors are doing, what others are doing, and why it is not working. Then we explain what is the better solution, the 3P formula. And at the end, we just use a one-liner summarizing everything. As I said, spend your time growing, not shipping. Relevance equals revenue. This is a necessity, not a luxury. After this body of the value that you just provided, we establish even more authority. So what do you currently do? Every day I work with e-com founders who are just getting started, all the way to some who are making 100K a month or more. We help them to get more sales, create better backend, and systemize the entire thing. So right now they know what you are currently doing. And the next step is, of course, to show them how you can help them. So you literally state your offer right here. So right now, we are looking to help more founders grow their e-com brands. We will copy-paste our proven systems in your business and help you create a profitable brand in the next 6 months with a guarantee, no tricks. So as you can see right here is actually the guarantee of Dylan, right? That he will help you create a profitable brand in the next 6 months, or you get your money back. So the last one is the call to action. Literally, just DM me the word e-com. That's the same formula that you can use, copy and paste, and probably have similar results. So you're probably asking right now, how do I actually set up in the ad manager? So let me show you that. So of course, here you just click create, engagement, continue, manual, of course, because we want to have all the power over our campaign. Now we click continue, and now right here. So in the campaign level, you literally keep everything the same. So this is where the important start happens, right? So first of all, of course, we only want Instagram. Maybe if you are using Messenger or WhatsApp, you can also do that. But yeah, I would just stay with Instagram because it's much simpler. Now, performance goal, maximize number of conversations. And now daily budget. So I get asked about it like every single day. And I would say the minimum to start is at least $20, right? This is AUD, so I would actually go like 30 AUD. But $20 American is actually, I think, the lowest that you can start, just to get enough data so you can actually see if the ad is performing well, get some conversations, all of that. Now, when it comes to targeting, I would keep it really broad. So for example, with Dylan, we literally didn't do any like precise targeting. We just targeted the locations that we can work with, and that's literally it. Now, placement. So that's something really important. So make sure that you actually click manual placements, and that you only do, of course, on Instagram when you, right here, when you picked only Instagram, and you don't do anything of those. So you don't do Instagram Reels, you don't do Instagram profile Reels, you only do Instagram stories and one more right here, Instagram Explorer homepage and Instagram Explorer. This is it. And actually Instagram stories, sorry, you don't do Instagram stories. So that's literally those 4. And if you set up the campaign like this, and this is literally it when it comes to the ad set level. And now when it comes to the ad creative level, let me show you that. So of course, here will be carousel, you upload all of those images that you have. And now when it comes to this part, because this part is really important, what you do right here is instead of having those bullshit questions, you literally have the call to action. So literally you have right here, e-com, and here, right here, you just say, hey, DM me the word e-com for more info. Now, of course, you can do a lot more with it, but this is just like a great start. And this is actually the same copy that we used with Dylan. And yeah, you just click publish and you have ads running. So that's how you set them up. And now when you have those ads running, let's talk about the appointment setting framework. And yeah, by the way, by all means, just take this, steal this, and yeah, put it into a good use. I will not be mad. So yeah, I really just want you to win. So let's talk about the good part right now. So appointment setting framework. Now let's stop here for a second. The most common mistake that people do with appointment setting. So first, it feels like a prospect is literally talking to an AI. That's the first thing. The second thing is that they use appointment setting to straight up book someone from the ad campaign to a call. And they shouldn't be doing like that. Because let's think about it. Someone literally 2 hours earlier just read like, I know, 200 words, like few sentences that you've put together. And you think that they will actually take 1 hour of their time to speak to you? Of course not. They don't trust you enough. So we need to fix that. And the third mistake is actually not tracking any data. So let's talk about every one of those. So let's start with personalization. So the scariest thing that I literally see every single day is those ManyChat messages. They scream that everything here is automated and there is like no personalization, right? So for example, you send the message right from the ad like we just showed. So for example, we send the keyword to someone like from the ad that we just showed you, right? And instead of like a personalized response, like an actual human being talking to another human being, you see this message, right? So probably you will say something, I don't want to show who that is, but probably you will say something, yeah, thanks for messaging me, blah, blah, blah. Here is the free resource, and you have this button. And of course, everyone knows that this is done through ManyChat, and it just destroys the whole like trust and everything there. So please don't do that. So what to do instead? Let me show you. So this is how it works. And as you can see, the open rate is 91%. So this is really strong. Like if you ever tried something in ManyChat, you will literally get like 50% open rate. This is 91%. So 2 times, right? So again, we get 2 times more people actually watch our resource. And this is literally what we say. So we wait exactly 60 seconds here and 47 seconds here. And then we say, hey, I just had a minute between meetings. Let me send that through. We wait 3 seconds. We send just a link. Of course, it's a deep link because we want people to go straight up to our YouTube. We wait 3 seconds more and we send a personalized voice note explaining literally what this video is about and why they should watch it. And just think for a second, which message would make you actually respond positively? Like this one, when someone actually says, like the actual founder, the actual face says, yeah, I'm just between the meetings, let me send you that, sends a link like a normal human being, and then sends you a voice note or a message looking like this. Like, let me send you, thanks for the message, let me send you the free resource, let me know what you think. Click here. Of course, this one. And this is why we see this crazy boost in data. So this is exactly how you create appointment setting that feels personalized, that feels like a human being to human being. And of course, throughout the setting, we have all of those pre-recorded voice notes. Like, let me show you how much they are. And of course, throughout the appointment setting framework, we have all of those personalized voice notes that we can strategically use when we need them. And when someone is actually really close to being converted to a call, we'll just ask Dylan to record a personalized voice note there. That's the last step and someone is actually booked. And this process makes sure that someone actually feels like they are treated right, feels the connection with Dylan, so has the positive attitude towards him and towards the whole offer, product, everything like that. So now let's talk about how you actually track data. As you can see, we have like 5 different, let's say, campaigns that we've been running. And there's of course a lot that goes into that, like actually what we say in the personalized line or what we actually say in the first DM or in the voice note, right? I'm not going to get into that right now because this would be much too long, but let's just see the results. So when you look at this, when you look at just those 2, let me just focus on those 2 because those are the winners. When we look at those 2, what we can see. So let me just focus on those 2, okay? Because those are the winners. What we see right here. We literally see right here, right? That from the first campaign, out of 100 messages, okay, 100 messages, we had what? 18 plus 40 plus 24 plus 2. So we had 84, I did the math before, 82 responses. So that's what? 84% reply rate, which is unheard of. Like if you have 30% reply rate, it is considered good, right? No one is doing those numbers because no one is tracking data. No one is being that persistent with tracking the data. And that's exactly why they don't have those results. 84%. Okay, let's take a look at this one. 79 messages sent. Let's take a look at this, right? 6, 25, 35, 6. I also did the math before, 72 replies. So when it comes to the percentage, it's 91% reply rate. 91%. Think about it for a second. That means that from those 2 campaigns, we almost got 90% reply rate. 90% reply rate. Think about it. 9 out of 10 leads that are coming to your profile will actually start conversation with you. You will get a reply. Okay, you will maybe not start conversation, but you will get reply. Because even when I track, you're probably thinking why I track left unseen. Because left unseen is literally 10 times better than someone who didn't see the message. Because how many follow-ups you can craft from if someone saw the message? Like it's basically the conversation is already open. So this is why I track it. And even if you take it out, like it's already like 70% or like 75%, which is incredible. And this is the importance of data tracking. This is how you can literally get 79 messages and 6 calls booked. If someone is having 33% close rate, 2 closes. So if someone like Dylan has a 6K offer, that means 12K from 79 messages. You can do 79 messages in a day. 2 closes. That's the importance of data tracking. And this is exactly why the personalization and the data tracking work so good together, because you can have those numbers at the end. So, okay, now we know how to make personalized appointment setting, the importance of tracking data. And now let's talk about the third step. So how to actually turn leads in literally 30 minutes from cold to warm, ready to buy leads that trust you, that see you as an authority, and that ultimately will purchase. And the answer is pretty simple. You create free content and resources that are so good that people just want to buy from you. So here is an example, right? Here is a VSL that we made with Dylan covering his story, right? The same story right here, how he went from -20 to 50 million in income. And as you can see, super high production, right? 3 different thumbnails. Let me show you the results. So first of all, 5.7% click-through rate. Good, really good. The first long-form video like this on his profile, almost 6% click-through rate, which is in 715 views. Now let's talk about another thing, retention. So as you probably know, when you did YouTube for even one day, you know that click-through rate and retention is like 2 most important things to track, right? Because that means how many clicks you are getting and then how many people actually stay. And let me show you that. 27% average view rate. 27%. Look at this beautiful retention line. This is what you want to see, right? Of course, you will always see the drop at the beginning of the video. But look how precise the line is, right? There is no drop off. It's not like people watch like 1 minute and then it drops right here and maybe it drops right here and no one watches to the end, right? Because again, the video is so good, the script is so good, the production is so good that people just convert on this one asset. And of course, what do? We send this asset straight away in setting. If someone just follows us, we try to send it as fast as we can. Of course, we don't just drop it and leave it and say, please watch it, but we actually tie this to a pain that the lead is facing right now. And this is exactly how you do a good appointment setting framework. And now the last step, the sales process itself. The sales process, so how to maximize the amount of PIFs, payment in full, that you will be getting, and how to actually create such a good pre-call sequence that people will trust you and create even more authority at the end and those last steps, that this is necessary. This is not an option, this is an actual must that everyone should have. So let's talk about it. So you have a booking link, right? Like on Calendly. Then you have Calendly questions, and you should use at least 3 questions there. One talking about the need, so how actually committed you are to doing this. Then the second one about the finance, so what you actually are ready to invest in this. And the last is about the decision making itself. So do you have any business partner, anyone else, like a spouse that needs to be on the call? If yes, please add them. Those are the 3 mandatory questions. After that, they are straight up redirected to a landing page where there's a decision-making video, a call to action to a VSL, and a VSL itself. A lot of people really overcomplicate this text because they when they hear landing page, right? They have like this very fancy, high production, like website with all of those things right here. And of course, there is one way to do it like that, but you don't need to complicate it. And let me show you the same exact page that in 20 days made almost $8,000, and before that made 51K. So in total, in like a month and 15 days, made more than $100K. And this is this page, literally a simple page on Notion with a decision-making video, right? And then the VSL, literally just this. And this is how you don't need to overcomplicate that. You can literally set up something like this, right? You can copy this. Just take this, copy this, mandatory to watch decision-making video. And if you don't know what decision-making video is, you can literally watch this video right here. It will be explained there. And like the middle of the video, I think I was talking about it. And the VSL, which I also talk in this video. So just take a look at it. And you literally have yourself a landing page. Now, after that, you of course have some email sequences, right? So let me show you the simplest one that you can make. So it's literally, hi name, you just booked a call with me. Please do me a favor and make sure to accept this invite and watch this video. And of course, this link is the VSL. So we just make sure that people watch this video. Another one. So this one is like 6 hours after they booked the call, or it can also be like 24 hours before the actual call itself. So this is that. And then 6 hours before the call, you send this. Did you watch the pre-call video I sent you earlier? If you have, great. If you haven't, it's important that you do. And boom, the video right here. This is how you do it. Super simple. And of course, the setter itself also needs to do some IG reminders to make sure they show up on the call. And now they show up, and there are three things that can happen. Either they showed up, either they didn't show up, or they show up and wasn't closed. So if they showed up and they are not closed, of course, so if they showed up, right? So let's talk about what can happen. So first of all, of course, they showed up and they are closed. So everything is perfect there. If they didn't show up, we have a no-show sequence. So what it means, we have all of those emails, right, with different assets inside of them. And we use that to have like a no-show sequence. So we basically target the most common reasons why someone didn't show up to the call. Of course, it can be that trivial, like they literally just forgot. But sometimes there can be some pain there. So we utilize that in like no-show sequence. Now, if someone showed up and wasn't close, we send them the postcode VSL. So again, it's just an asset, right? It's just like a video. Breaking down what happened with the call and trying to get another call, right? Trying to basically schedule like a follow-up call. Of course, with the prospects that are worth this time. And actually, once we run this test, when we send 11 of those to like old leads, right? To the leads that the client had calls like a few months earlier. And actually, we got one close out of that. So it's almost 10%, right? So it's definitely worth giving a try. And now everything here is cool, right? How do you actually get this many PIFs? Because if you see, this is a PIF, this is one PIF and one pay in half. This is two PIFs. So literally half of the closes right now, almost half of them in this month, not counting the previous one, were closed pay in full. So how do you actually do that? And that's really important because there is an actual methodology behind it. So let's talk about it. So this is how you sell. After all the discovery, pitch, pre-objection handling before the actual price drop, you do this. You introduce the main offer. Now, if there is no objections, perfect, you just make a PIF. But we all know that this usually doesn't happen. So there are some objections, right? I need to think about it. Oh, it's not the right time, blah, blah. Like there's a lot of that. We handle objections. What will then happen is they will say, okay, but can we split the payment? And usually we just say it depends and we stay quiet. And prospect will they say, yeah, like what it depends. And we kind of like take a step back and we actually reframe the whole thing, right? So just to be clear, John, let's take the investment out of the equation. We can talk about it in a second, and you basically do a temp check, right? So you say, but based on the actual mechanisms, based on the actual offer, do you think that there is something that is missing there? And then they will say, no, it's actually perfect. So you say, okay, so it's just the payment. And now here's what will happen. New objections will arise, right? So they will say, yeah, it's just that actually I don't think, it's trust. 90% of the time is just trust. So this is how to handle that. So new objections handle, right? You handle the objection. And now if they have the money, perfect, you do the PIF. But if the new objections are handled and they don't have the money, then you need to open wallet. What it means is you actually need to ask really politely, right? Like at this stage, it's like 70 minutes into the call. So they already kind of trust you, already built the report. So you know how to like actually politely ask them like, okay, let's be honest for a second, how much you actually have allocated that you can put? And then of course it will depend. Sometimes people actually will need to do a payment plan and that's totally okay. But sometimes it will get PIF. Because let's think about it for a second. If someone actually knows that they're gonna pay the full amount sooner or later, most likely the reason why they want to do a payment plan is because they don't trust you enough. And they think that maybe when they will do a payment plan, okay, maybe they will just put like 1/3 of that. And if something terrible happens, they will just lose 1/3, right? Because they don't trust you enough. But if you do this like this, if you use this it depends framework, you can actually maximize the amount of PIFs. Because let me tell you that when I watched those call recordings right here of Lylan, literally every single call that ended up in the PIF, so 2 of those. It wasn't like, Lylan proposed, okay, this is like 6K and people were, let's do the PIF. Actually, it was every single time, this thing right here, not even this, like it depends. And usually it depends, new objections, open wallet, PIF, to be honest. So by using this, the sales process, the appointment setting framework, and the carousel ad strategy, this is how you actually can make $18,000 in just 2 days. And this is all for today. Hope it was very valuable for you and see you in the next one. Peace.